High School. I'd like to welcome some of our dignitaries. I thought I saw some of these folks in the house. I thought I saw some of our Board of Ed members, Cindy McGarrett and Tricia Andrews. Did I miss any other board members? Great. And we have our superintendent, Dr. Matt Frame. We have our principal of the high school, Mr. Kenneth Smith. I thought I saw our assistant principal, Mr. Robert Caniglio. I'm not sure if I saw Julie Mampy, but Julie Mampy's our other assistant principal. And did I just see Kristen Overholt? Is Kristen here? Kristen Overholt, thank you very much for coming. She's our assistant superintendent. So real quick, I know I talked a lot, but I'm trying to make this fast. Emergency protocol, just in case if anything should happen. We're going out the same two doors, cross the driveway there and get into the grass area, and then we'll wait for communications from that point. Anybody here from the military or a veteran? Please stand. Please stand. Let's acknowledge. I want to make just a couple quick thank yous. Thank you to our committee. Thank you to Liz Dunn for helping me put a lot of these photos together that we're going to see on the presentation. For Charlie for being our MC since day one back in 2003. And finally to my wife for putting up with me. At this point, I'm going to ask our orchestra if they would play the national anthem. So if you would please join and rise to honor America. Hey, Tommy, I don't know about you, but I'm old school. I'll take the ball, right? We'll take the ball. Okay, lastly, we are on a short time here. We have to be out at the field at 6:45 to get introduced before the homecoming game. So we're figuring 10 minutes combination for each inductee. That's an hour. That'll put us at about 6:10. Make our way to the back foyer, check out the display, unveil the plaques, and then out on the field. Okay, so ready? Here's Mr. Charlie Vesper.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the 23rd Annual Clarence Athletic Wall of Fame induction. My name is Charlie Vesper, and I'm a member of the induction committee. Other members are Elizabeth Dunn, Mark Kenzie, Mark Blair, Brian Malley, and Brian Schmidt. Brian Schmidt, I want to highlight him for a moment. He's the workhorse of the committee. He brings the passion to this event. He's responsible for the slideshow, the program, the display case, the plaques, and write-ups. He deserves all the credit, and he deserves all the recognition. Let's give him a round of applause for all the Clarence Sports has built its reputation on excellence, character, integrity, and good sportsmanship. Student athletes, coaches, teachers, administrators, and private citizens have contributed to the overall success of the Clarence athletic program. Tonight, we welcome and congratulate the 23rd class of inductees to our Athletic Wall of Fame. Our goal is to honor these individuals who have brought distinction to the Clarence athletic program through their leadership, participation, and support. The inductees are Mark Armstrong, 3-sport athlete; Kim Hunt, 3-sport athlete; Mark Kenzie, physical education teacher and coach; Mary Corbelli, 4-sport athlete; Robert Malley, 3-sport athlete; Stephanie Turner, 3-sport athlete. I'd like to call up I'd like to acknowledge the Wall of Famers that are in attendance tonight, and I hope I don't miss anybody. From the class of 2005, William Lefty Helms. From the class of 2013, Bev Torak. From the class of 2016, Tom Goddard. And also John Hunt. In the class of 2022, Charlie Vesper. Early known. Class of 2023, Elizabeth Dunn. Anybody here that...
Big John.
What's that?
Big John. Manthe.
Oh, John Manthe. John Manthe.
And Charlie, Mark Lair representing his father.
Okay, Mark Lair representing Norm Lair.
Is Jan Vesper here?
Yes.
Jan Vesper representing John.
Anyone else? We forgot.
Oh, Charlie. Sue Corey representing Jack Hesslink.
Ellison Jacobs here.
Sue Corey representing Father Jack.
Hesslink representing her father, Jack Hesslink. So, with no further ado, I'm going to call up Tom Goddard to introduce first inductee Mark Kenzie.
Go ahead.
Good evening. I have the honor and privilege to talk about Mark Kenzie. I'd like to congratulate everyone, all the inductees of 2005. Congratulations. Coaching with Mark for many years has been a true pleasure. His dedication and knowledge was outstanding, and the defense was always well prepared. To me, Mark, you're not just a colleague, you're family. Mark earned his bachelor's degree at SUNY Cortland in 1979 and his master's degree at Canisius College in 1989. Mark taught physical education in the Clarence School District for 35 years. He began his career at Leadview and Sheridan Hill Elementary Schools. Mark continued at Clarence High School before moving to Harris Hill Elementary for 31 years. Mark has always had a special way of using humor and life experiences to impact his students and athletes. He made you feel as if you were family and that you meant something to him. Mark has coached several sports at Clarence, including varsity football for 28 years. His role as the assistant coach was as the defensive coordinator. The teams that he coached won many league section championships and competed in 3 Far West regional competitions in 1998, 2010, and 2023. Mark has been instrumental in developing football players and will join several of them now on the Wall of Fame. Upon his retirement, he continued being a part of the Red Devil football program by being a volunteer assistant for 5 years. Mark has also earned a reputation as one of the finest basketball coaches in Western New York and in New York State while coaching in the Maryville School District. In 1999, he earned the ECIC 20-Year Service Award. In 2004, he was named the Section 6 Basketball Coach of the Year. In 2004 and 2005, Mark was also named the ECIC Basketball Coach of the Year. The Maryville School District honored him by inducting him to their Athletic Wall of Fame in 2010. In 2013, the American Cancer Society named Mark Coach of the Year for working diligently each year to raise funds to help cancer research. With support of his sons and fellow coaches, Chris and Garrett, he has led the Western New York high school community in fighting back against cancer. His initiatives have raised over $40,000 in donations to the American Cancer Society. In 2024, Mark was inducted into the New York State Basketball Hall of Fame by the Basketball Coaches Association of New York. Looking back on his career, Mark has always enjoyed his daily interaction with his students, athletes, and colleagues. His passion for coaching continues to this day as he assists his son Chris at Amherst High School for basketball, and now with his son Garrett for football at Amherst High School. Mark is married to his wife Sharon. They have 2 sons, Chris and his wife Christina, Garrett and his wife Erin, and 6 grandchildren, Adeline, Jaden, Maxine, Blakely, Grayson, and Layton. Congratulations, Mark Kenzie, to the Clarence Athletic Club.
Good evening. I do have a short speech prepared. No, it's still here. Bert Malley, one of my first players back in 1980, surprised me with my picture from the Clarence B. And he says I can use these as luggage tags. There's 4 of them here. My wife can ship me off anywhere she wants. I have 3 of my grandchildren here, one daughter-in-law, and my wife. And my wife has been our biggest support. Without her, there's no way in the world that I could make it to my 46th year of coaching. Congratulations to my fellow inductees, Mary, Kim, Stephanie. 2 of my former football players, Mark Armstrong and Bert Malley. Bert was on the first team I ever coached in. Tony Barafato is also in attendance. Where are you, Tony? Again, one of the first players I ever coached. I have in attendance also a representative group from Harris Hill. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. I also would like to add a special thanks to the members of the Wall of Fame Committee, and especially to Brian Schmidt. Without him,
there is no wall of fame here. His dedication and passion for this project are, I couldn't even put a price tag on it. He just works so hard. What a ride. I began my high school coaching career in 1979, and it's continued for 46 years. In 1980, I was hired by Glenn Faust to be the defensive coordinator, a position I proudly held for 35 years. I had to correct Tom. He said 28. It's actually 35. Maybe I didn't show up for 7. I don't know. I worked with 4 different head coaches: Glenn Faust, Tom Goddard, Mark Lair, and in my last years at Clarence, I was a volunteer assistant to head coach Paul Berger. All good men, passionate, and dedicated leaders. I was proud to serve with them. My favorite word is passion, and it's found in all corners of society. I was always passionate about my teaching and my coaching, and to this day, I still am. I have to apologize. Our football team down the street in Amherst kicks off at 7 o'clock, and I'll be taking my leave right after this, right after I'm done. And I apologize. I would love to hear more about this outstanding class. I would not be accorded this honor without the assistance of the people who comprised our staff and the many players who proudly wore the Clarence uniform. My 2 sons, grew up on the football field, acting as ball boys, until they became old enough to play the great game of football. I consider myself fortunate to have taught and coached in this tremendous district. I will always be a Clarence Red Devil. Thank you. Oh, I apologize. My nephew is also here, Danny, and my son, Chris. I didn't know they had popped in. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, Coach Dave Smith is going to introduce Mark Armstrong.
Special congratulations to Coach Kenzie. I've been fortunate enough to know Mark and Sharon literally my entire life. I was neighbors with Sharon growing up. So when Brian Schmidt told me that Mark had to go first because he had to leave, I thought it was super fitting. I had the pleasure to introduce a 30-year-old player of mine, followed by a 100-year-old coach that I had growing up, because Mark was my basketball coach at Maryville High School. I want to congratulate him and just let him know that a lot of the stuff that I do on the baseball diamond came from basketball practices with him. So congratulations.
Thanks, Marty.
So that's my nickname growing up. It used to really piss me off, but I've gotten used to it now, so it doesn't really matter to me much anymore. It's my pleasure to introduce Mark Armstrong, Clarence High School class of 2013. Mark competed in football, hockey, and baseball at Clarence from 2019 to 2013, or 2009 rather to 2013. He earned 9 varsity letters and is, without question, the most decorated baseball player in Clarence history. As a sophomore, Mark was the JV quarterback for Mark Lair. He was called up to enjoy a sectional championship run on the varsity after the JV season was over. He learned during that championship run, what he learned helped him prepare him to be the starting quarterback for his junior and senior years. He was fortunate enough to be able to learn from Coach Kenzie, Coach Lair, just said Coach Bergio is here, and Scott Roberts. On the football field, Mark's highlights include being named the player of the game at the Syracuse Carrier Dome when they opened the season there his senior year. Although that senior season was cut short due to injury, Mark was very appreciative of the support he received from the coaches, and will always remember that Clarence football coaches placed a priority on ensuring that the kids became young men. Mark also participated in hockey during the winter. Morning practices with Coach Brooks were not top on Mark's list, according to him. But Mark did say that senior year was probably his favorite year of hockey ever. Coach Brooks took a different approach that Mark really appreciated. That team of Mark's senior year was the first team at Clarence to win the league title. He received all league and all section honors. For his efforts, he was awarded the coveted White Letter Award and the Bob Armstrong Memorial Award, named after Mark's late father, Bob. Bob was Mark's #1 coach, who tragically passed away on January 28, 2012, when Mark was a junior. This left a huge hole in the Armstrong family that was filled so evidently by Joanne. While Bob always ran the late night practices and took Mark to the field to hit and throw the football, it was Joanne that was a rock behind the scenes. And this was certainly never more evident than after Bob's passing. Led by Joanne, Mark showed incredible maturity in the years that followed his dad's passing. This maturity allowed him to develop into the incredible athlete that he was, but more importantly, the incredible person that he is. I was lucky enough that baseball was Mark's real pride and joy. I'll never forget the phone call that I took from Bob about a week before varsity baseball tryouts when Mark was a freshman. Mark's years correspond to a special time in my life. My kids were 7, 10, and 13, so super impressionable. Mark left a huge impression on them. So they were running around my house on making dinner. Phone call pops up, it's Bob Armstrong. If you knew Bob, super nice guy, very soft-spoken. And he said, "Hey, just want to find out, kind of what your plans are for Mark this year." And I very nicely said, "We got a really good junior catcher, so Mark would probably try out on varsity, but likely end up on the JV team." And again, Bob was just super polite. He's like, "Okay, if that's what you think is going to happen, that's fine, and I'll respect that, but you might want to give him a good look." And never in the history of Clarence baseball, or maybe mankind, has there been a bigger understatement than that. Because from day one, Mark showed that he belonged on the varsity. He'd go on to be our starting catcher as a freshman and sophomore, eventually making the change to pitcher for his junior and senior years. That ultimately led him to all of his accolades and everything that he'd achieved. I could share stories of Mark's times at Clarence all night long, but those will have to wait for the bar after the ceremony maybe. But I think one of my fondest memories, and I think one of Mark's fondest memories, is his last home game over at Clarence Goodrich Park. We used to have a thing called Baseball Night in Clarence. Arden Bender, I see in the stands, is a longtime board member, usually in charge of publicity for that stuff. We used to get bounce houses for the kids and fire trucks. And again, my kids were all playing in the Little League, so at that time I knew all the kids that were in the Little League. It was just a great time. That particular evening was beautiful, and we had a giant crowd there, and it was made even more special by the 25 to 30 Major League scouts sitting behind the dugout, and or behind the backstop. Mark threw a no-hitter, 18 strikeouts, and it was just a glorious evening. Drew Bolowski is in the house someplace. He was our assistant coach at the time, And I just remember turning to him and Zach Darlock, who was another assistant, and saying, just sit and relax and enjoy this, because this is never going to happen again. Just a special time. Mark went on to lead that team to the state championship game, getting the win and hitting a home run in the semifinal game. During the trip to the Final Four, Mark found out that he was drafted by the Reds when all of his teammates were around. Super special moment. Mark always played the game of baseball the right way, never chased accolades, but because of how good he was, the accolades came in buckets. All ECIC, all Western New York first team, junior and senior year, White Letter Award winner junior and senior year, Male Athlete of the Year, first team All-State, New York State Gatorade Player of the Year with the banner still hanging up in the hallway. Just an unmatched baseball resume here at Clarence High School. So Mark is joined here tonight by his mom, his sister Lauren, and her children. Unfortunately, his brother Dave couldn't make it up from Houston tonight. Mark is engaged to marry his fiancee Ashley, who is here. They have 4 children, Andrew, Charlotte, Harper, and Sawyer. It is my pleasure to introduce Mark Armstrong, this year's Clarence Hall of Fame class.
Thanks for taking a while, Coach, so I can keep this to Coach Schmidt's schedule.
Thank you.
I've learned over the last 10, 12 years since I graduated that great communities, organizations, schools, in order for them to be great, they have to have great people. And that's exactly what Clarence has, the community. They've done a lot for me personally, emotionally, athletically. Just the support that I saw and still receiving when I walk in here and everybody just wants to give me a hug, and I think it's amazing. I think that shows a lot of what you guys have done here, so I really appreciate that. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. When I learned of this, I was very grateful and honored just because of the fact that you guys take pride in doing these things. I coached for a few years, and you see that in some areas, and being able to be a part of things like this that the school offers, it's a great thing just for the kids in the community, and the fact that you guys care is phenomenal. So I do want to say thank you to my mom, especially in front of everybody. We went through a tough time in high school. We still butt heads sometimes. But Mommy picked up the slack when I definitely needed it, so I really appreciate that. And if everybody can give a hand. Lastly, I just want to say, thank you to Ashley. You supported me a lot. You brought me up from a lot of, life lessons that I've had to learn and go through. So Ashley, I'm looking forward to marrying you late June of next year. We're wonderful 4 kids that are phenomenal. So everybody, please give her a hand for supporting her. Once again, I just want to say thank you. This is very special. I love coming up here to Clarence. I try to get up here once or twice every single year. Drive on by and just look at this place and look where it's gone, look where it stayed. And I just see Facebook all the time and social media that everything just keeps going up, and it's again because of everybody that you have here. So thanks again, everybody.
I'll be introducing Kimberly Hunt. Kimberly Hunt, class of 1992, competed in 3 sports throughout her time at Clarence High School. She participated at the varsity level in cross country, indoor track, and outdoor track for 5 years. She earned 15 varsity red letters. Kimberly is the daughter of Lorraine and John Hunt, who was a legendary coach and the class of 2016 Clarence Athletic Hall of Fame inductee. In cross country, Kimberly was a member of the undefeated ECIC and sectional championship teams for 5 consecutive years. Her teams qualified for the state and federation championships all 5 years. In 1988, the team placed second in the Class B state championship. In 1991, Kimberly was a member of the team that won the New York State Championship. In the winter, Kimberly ran indoor track. She competed in the 1,000-meter and 1,500-meter runs. Kimberly was also a member of the 4x400 and the 4x800 relay teams. Those teams won numerous championships throughout her time at Clarence. For her efforts, Kimberly won the White Ladder Award in her senior year. Kimberly ran outdoor track in the spring. She excelled in being a member of the 4x400 and 4x800 relay teams. Kimberly was a captain during her senior year. Kimberly was awarded the Female Athlete of the Year as well as the Jack Hessling Scholarship for her efforts. She went on to Fredonia State University, where she competed all 4 years in cross country, indoor track, and outdoor track. Currently, Kim is a reading specialist for first grade students in the Wharton Borough Public School System in New Jersey. Congratulations, Kimberly Hunt, Clarence Athletics Wall of Fame, class of 2025.
Good evening. I'm honored to be standing here tonight as an inductee into the Clarence Wall of Fame. I'm proud of this recognition. It's for my time out in cross country and track. Although to be fair, when I first started running, I wasn't entirely sure it was a sport or just a way to make a supper after school. When I think back to those early days, starting as an 8th grader, taking the bus over to the high school with those long practices and races, it's not the mileage that sticks with me. Okay, maybe a little bit of mileage, but more than that, it's the teammates that who became family, the coaches who pushed me further than I ever thought I could go, the life lessons that somehow snuck in between the repeats, the 400-meter repeats, and that have stayed with me long after high school ended. To the Clarence coaches, Dave Johnson, who I first knew as Mr. DJ, my 6th grade teacher, who somehow convinced me running was a good idea. Dave Hartzell and Billy Davis, and of course my dad, John Hunt, who led our team to win the 1991 cross-country state championships in senior year. I owe each of you a tremendous debt of gratitude. Your guidance, your time, your patience, your belief in me and in all of us, shaped not how we ran, but how we approached life. You taught us how to run smarter, how to push through pain, and most importantly, what it means to be a true teammate, working together towards a common goal. To my teammates, thank you for the laughs on the bus rides, the inside jokes that still would make no sense to anyone else, the grit during workouts, the unwavering support during every race, and the many weekends spent bonding whether we were competing or not. I'll never forget the memories we made decorating t-shirts, sweatshirts, bucket hats, and shorts with puffy pinks before our state meets. These nothing says state meet ready, like a bucket hat with puffy pink and sparkles. I actually rediscovered some of those old creations recently, stored way back for decades. The one that stands out the most is the sweatshirt we made, of course, winning the state cross-country championships at Elm Meadows in 1991. It was a perfect way to end my cross-country career in Clarence. Cross-country and track can be individual sports, but at Clarence we always ran as a team. And seeing some of you here tonight, Patty, Shannon, and Sarah, reminds me how deep those bonds go, and I appreciate your support even all these years later. To my family, thank you for being my biggest fans. You showed up in the rain, the snow, the wind, and that one time in Lake Placid when somehow all three at once. Your support carried me through more races than I can count. To my late mom, who kept incredible scrapbooks, helped with the booster club, and was a master of getting love out of everything. And to my dad for coaching me along the way. Jeffrey for being at more than his fair share of cross-country and track meets over the years to cheer me on. And a special thank you to my brother John and my sister Tiffany, who weren't just cheering me on, but running right alongside me as teammates. Being inducted into the Clarence Wall of Fame is more than an honor. It's a reminder of what happens when you combine hard work, passion, and a little bit of local weather-induced toughness. I'm proud to have worn the Clarence red jersey singlet. I'm even prouder now to be part of the Wall of Fame. Thank you again for this incredible honor. Clarence will always be my home, and I'll carry the community and its memories with me wherever I go. Thank you.
The honor of introducing Mary Corbelli, class of 1978, competed in 4 varsity sports throughout her tenure at Clarence High School. During her time at Clarence, Mary participated in field hockey, volleyball, basketball, and softball every season. She earned 10 varsity red letters throughout her career at Clarence. Mary never missed a single practice or game, maintaining a perfect attendance record throughout her time at Clarence High School. She was recognized not only for her athletic ability, but also her leadership and strong commitment to team spirit. Mary played varsity field hockey for 2 years, earning ECIC and Division II All-Star honors. She was a co-captain as a senior. Mary competed in varsity volleyball for 2 years, earning Division I All-Star honors. She played with a very talented group of teammates, and some of them are in the Wall of Fame today. They are Robin Gibson, Rachel Krug, and Bev Torak. Her coach, Bob Neubauer, is also in the Clarence Athletics Wall of Fame. Mary played varsity basketball for 2 years, earning ECIC First Team All-Star honors. Mary led her team in steals and assists as part of Charlie's Angels. That famous team captured the Section 6 championship. In the spring, Mary competed in varsity softball for 4 years. She was a true competitor, driven to win and improve her skills. Mary was a leader by example with an unwavering work ethic. Mary and her teammates' commitment and enthusiasm paved the way for future female athletes in Title IX. Mary was also very active in school. She was a member of the student council, the homecoming committee, and the varsity club. Mary went on to Portland State College, continuing her journey where she majored in physical education while competing in field hockey. After 2 years, she transitioned into the medical field. Having moved around the country several times, Mary embraced change with the mindset, if you can't beat them, join them. This led her to pick up a tennis racket at the age of 33 and began teaching aerobics. She taught aerobics for over 15 years and today still competes in the highly competitive United States Tennis Association League of Southern California. Her dedication to the sport led her to the USTA National Championships on 9 occasions. In 2014, her team earned the honor of winning the prestigious USTA National Championship title. Mary believes age is just a number, and at 65, continues to fiercely compete with the same passion and energy with no signs of slowing down. Mary feels blessed to call Newport Beach, California home. She has cherished the gift of raising her 2 children, Philip and Jacqueline, and considers motherhood one of her greatest joys in life. I just want to add a couple of things that weren't mentioned here. Mary played on the very first girls team ever to win a sectional championship in Clarence history. That was 1977-78. Mary played on that team, and that team produced Wall of Famers Bev Torak, Rachel Krug, Donna Gombacher, Robin Gibson, and Nancy Schaefer. Those girls and the teams they played on put Clarence Girls Athletics on the map. Mary, I'm proud of you. Congratulations, Clarence Athletic Wall of Fame class of 2025.
All righty. There'll be some repetition, but that's okay, right? Standing here tonight, 45 years after graduating from Clarence, is both humbling and surreal. When I walked these halls as a student, I never imagined I'd be back here, much older, a lot slower, but hopefully a bit wiser, receiving this incredible honor. Way back then, I played sports simply for the love of the game. I thrived on teamwork and competition. It gave my days purpose and joy. What I didn't realize at the time was that sports were also shaping my character, building strength, and teaching me commitment. And yes, giving me a healthy fear of conditioning drills. Which brings me to senior year basketball. You see, most school days I couldn't wait for practice. It was the best part of my day. But that season when the final bell rang, all I could think was, oh no, practice, suicide drills, Indian runs. I can still hear that whistle blow and blow and blow. But it was through those practices that all that hard work started to make sense. When our infamous basketball season began, the tip-off came with a stomach full of nervous butterflies. But as the game went on, the dreaded training, the drills, Coach Vesper's voice in my head all kicked in. My nerves settled and confidence took over. And as always, I packed a suitcase. I was traveling that day, and I was definitely going places, just not legally. Luckily, my quick hands made up for it. Stealing the ball became my thing. Turnovers turned into fast breaks. And thanks to teamwork, we were all going places together. Playing basketball with Charlie's Angels and winning sectionals was by far the most challenging and rewarding athletic achievement for me. From day one, we set our sights on that goal one game at a time. If we were trailing at halftime, Coach Vesper would calmly remind us, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. That phrase became our mantra, a spark that ignited our determination. Reaching that coveted title was a dream we all chased together, and the thrill of accomplishing it as a team is something I'll never forget. Fittingly, our theme song that year was "We Are the Champions," because that season, we truly were. While basketball may have been where my suitcase story started, it wasn't the only sport that shaped me. I played 4 sports, each one packed its own lesson. Not just about competition, but about life. Field hockey, volleyball, softball, each added a different chapter to my story. Fall field hockey season was a whole different kind of endurance. Whenever our coach was downfield with a back turn, my teammate and lifelong friend Jenny, who's here tonight, and I would hit the turf, not for a play, but to escape the freezing wind. I'd yell, "Hit the deck!" and we dropped to the ground for just a moment of warmth and rebellion. It was cold, it was brutal, but we stuck it out together. During those freezing moments, I've learned that sometimes the warmest things in life are your teammates. Then came volleyball, where urban legend has it, and I won't confirm or deny this, that someone may have led the team in ambushing our coach with a barrage of volleyballs. Totally in good fun, of course, but beneath the laughter was a team who knew how to recover, communicate, and trust each other under pressure. Then there was softball, where I proved I might have been an even bigger thief than in basketball. It was never about crushing home runs. That was Bev and Rachel's job. For me, it was about being the leadoff hitter, getting on base, and stealing my way around the diamond. My job wasn't to clear the bases, it was to be on them ready to score, proving once again, it's all about teamwork. Each sport taught me something different. How to lead, how to listen, how to push through, and how to show up for others. Today, they gave me skills I've learned far beyond the field or court. Real life lessons I carry with me wherever I go. And throughout those 4 years, I had the privilege of playing along 2 of the most talented athletes I've ever known. Bev Torak and Rachel Krug. Bev, who's here tonight. They pushed me not out of rivalry, but to raise the bar for each other. While competition made us better players, the bond we built back then has grown into a lasting friendship, and I'm truly grateful for it. The friendships and memories I've made with so many of my teammates became the heart of my high school experience. Some of my best moments weren't just from the games themselves, but from everything around them. I showed up every day mostly because I never wanted to miss a practice. I a game, or a bus ride with my teammates. Or maybe it was because we had an away game and I knew we'd be stopping at Burger King, where I could get not one, but 2 Whoppers, fries, and a shake. Or perhaps it was an all-you-can-eat dinner, a banquet, where I purposely skipped breakfast and lunch so I could save room. Rookie mistake. After graduating, I attended Cortland State, majoring in physical education and playing field hockey. 2 years in, I eventually shifted paths to pursue a career in the medical field. I also got married young, maybe too young. That's a whole other story. At 33, I relocated from New York to the South with 2 young children, a challenging transition, but one that became easier when I discovered something special in Atlanta. A vibrant year-round tennis culture that quickly became my new outlet, my new community, and a passion that stayed with me ever since. While at Atlanta, I became a certified aerobics instructor. It was more than just a way to stay active. It helped me adapt during time of big changes. Aerobics and tennis became a constant in my life, especially as we went on to move several more times across the U.S. Teaching classes and playing tennis kept me grounded, kept me fit, and maybe most importantly, introduced me to new communities and lifelong friends wherever we landed. Once again, it was through movement and sports where I found connection. Today, my Southern California team continues to chase a spot at Nationals. I've been to USTA Nationals 9 times so far, having the privilege of winning once. And now at 65, I can count 2 big wins. I qualified for senior tennis and Medicare. Looking back over 4 decades, I've come to realize that losing has often taught me more than winning ever did. I faced many defeats, both in competition and in life. But now I understand that God uses both victory and failure to shape us. Success is born through struggles, and setbacks often reveal His purpose. Through sports, I've learned resilience, confidence, teamwork, patience. That's my lifelong project. More importantly, though, God gave me something deeper, a sense of belonging, a place to grow, a community to lean on, and lasting relationships that continue to enrich my life. Now with age, wisdom, and faith, I see how His hand has guided me through every high and low. My hope is that young athletes today also recognize this. It's not just talent and hard work, but God's grace and guidance that provide the strength to persevere through challenge and competition and ultimately in life. In closing, I want to sincerely thank the Clarence Central Athletic Department, not just for this incredible honor, but for all you do to support and inspire student athletes. And I'm truly grateful for all my high school coaches who believed in me during my 4 years at Clarence. Thank you, your impact has lasted a lifetime. To my former teammates, many who are here tonight, thank you for every hustle, every laugh, every win and loss we shared together. To my siblings, Donna, Carl, and Gigi, who are also here, and their significant others, thank you for standing by me today and always, and especially to my mom and dad who are no longer with me. Your love and support has never left my side. To my 2 amazing children, Philip and Jacqueline, who are the light of my life, I hope my journey in sports has shown you the value of discipline, joy, and resilience, and the importance of never giving up. And finally, to all the younger athletes out there, remember that hard work and dedication do pay off. Chasing wins is exciting and success feels incredible. But in the long run, what truly matters is showing up for your team, taking care of your body, and never losing the joy that brought you to the game in the first place. So whether you're on the court or off, an athlete or not, carry yourself with integrity. Lift up those around you. Be kind, be present, and lean on your faith when things get hard, because life, much like sports, is full of challenges, and how you face them is what truly matters. And always remember, when the going gets tough, as it will, channel your inner Charlie's Angel, brace yourself for Coach Vesper's whistle, and if all else fails, hit the deck! Thank you all very much, and God bless.
John Melly is going to introduce his brother Robert Melly.
Good evening. My name is John Milley, the oldest of the 10 younger children. My brother Robert was from the class of 1982. He competed in 3 sports throughout his time at Clarence High School. He participated in football, basketball, and baseball. Robert excelled as an honor student athlete, earning 8 varsity red letters, 2 in football, and 3 each in basketball and baseball. Depending on the sport and coach, Robert was also known as Bird to the basketball coaches Howard John and Charlie Downer, and Bob by his football coach Glenn Faust. And Coach Faust, I think you're the only person that calls him Bob. In fall, Robert competed in varsity football for 2 years. He was the starting safety as a junior in the 1980 Red Devils, who went 9-1 and captured the Section 6 championship at Rich Stadium. As a senior, Robert moved to quarterback, leading the Devils to an 8-1 record and a share of the division title. When he graduated, Robert held the Clarence record for passing yards. For his effort, Robert earned 2 Division II second team All-Star honors. Robert participated in varsity basketball for 3 years. He led his team in scoring and assists during his junior and senior seasons with back-to-back ECIC 8-2 playoff appearances. For his efforts, Robert earned Most Valuable Player twice and was recipient of the coveted White Letter Award. Robert was honored by being named to the ECIC Division I All-Star second team both years. When he graduated, Robert was in the top 10 in scoring in Clarence basketball history. Robert Andrew Maley is the 6th of the 10 children of Jack and Geraldine Maley, along with his younger brothers, Brian, David, Kevin, and Peter. The Maley brothers became the all-time leading scorers by a family in Clarence basketball history. And Pete reminded me to say he's also in the top 10 in scoring. In the spring, Robert was a 3-year starter on the varsity baseball team. He contributed as a pitcher, third baseman, and outfielder. After graduating from Clarence, Robert attended the White College of Syracuse, earning a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting. His professional career has taken him to New York City, Chicago, Connecticut, and Long Island. Over more than 30 years in financial services, Robert has worked for Aetna, ABC, and spent 20 years as president of Guilford Securities Inc. In addition to his career, Robert has devoted significant time to youth sports, serving as a coach, administrator, and board member in football, basketball, and baseball. Robert and his wife Alexis live in Long Island with their daughter Phoebe. He's also the proud father of Andrew, Tyson, and Avery. He deeply appreciates the love and support of his siblings, Catherine, Anne-Marie, Tommy, Margaret, Brian, David, Kevin, Peter, and me. Congratulations, Robert. Clarence Athletics Hall of Fame, class of 2020.
Belated happy birthday from Wednesday this week. It was a big one. Week 7, oh, it was pretty good, right? My one daughter thought he looked like, I never heard a wedding, and she's like, he looks like one of the presidents. I think it was JFK. A lot of people to thank, great honors, thank you so much. Congratulations to all the other inductees. I want to thank my parents, Jack and Geraldine, for raising 10 children with faith, love, laughter. Best team I've ever met. When we were, as you can imagine from the list of the names, an Irish Catholic family. So we, most of my brothers and sisters went to Nativity or Holy Angels. John went to Canisius for good. Graduated from today's opponent, we won't name the name, but my older sister Anne-Marie graduated from Newman, and Tommy. So when Newman closed, there was a little apprehension about coming to Clarence High School, which is totally unfounded, as we all know now. But my mother wasn't really 6 or 7 at the time, and he's like, Mom, what do you want me to call it? The Red Jesuses? But Jack and Jerry became huge supporters, and really miss them. Thanks to my siblings that have been listed many times. We'll say them again: John Paul, Catherine, Anne Marie, Tommy, Margaret, myself, and the captain of the second 5. Brian, David, Kevin, and Peter. They taught me a lot about competition, encouragement. I don't think there was a time when John and Tommy played a driveway basketball game that didn't end in a fight or an injury for both. And so I learned how to shoot from the outside and not get involved with a lot of nonsense. But thank you very much. To my oldest sister, Catherine, who graduated of Clarence High School, as well as my sister Margaret, who helped me through the transition from Catholic school to public school. And then the bottom 5 with Brian, David, Kevin, and Peter. A lot of fun, great kids. Loved being a part of their life and sharing a number with them. The coaches here at Clarence were fantastic. Howie John, Chuck Donner, Glenn Faust, amongst others. Coach Mark Kenzie, I wish he would have stuck around. I mean, before there were Spangs, before there were Kims, there was Coach Kenzie's red bike pants he wore. They were good. Anyway, from the coaches, like Howie John, a man, great sense of humor, well before his time. We always thought nails, bear, scooter, walks. We didn't know that we even had any plays. We had no idea. We're like, we don't have plays. What are we doing? He was 30 years ahead of his time, running 5-out motion, positionless basketball. And it was hysterical. And a lot of fun. Really enjoyed all our time with the coaches. They're great teachers who really helped us. As far as teachers, there was Mike McCadden, Lenny Pappas, Ken Schnobrick, the original Snowman, and my favorite teacher, history teacher Brian Mallon. I want to thank him and the committee for this great honor. When he told me about it, I did the usual. I said to him, where would you rather be? Right here, right now. Of course, he's at his son's wedding in Boston. I'd like to thank my family, my children, Andrew, my twin daughters, Tyson and Avery. There was one picture on there. Tyson is in the far right in the Dairy Ann picture. I just have to mention that in case she's listening. The pride of my life. These guys are fantastic. As you can imagine, growing up with a family of 10 and about 30 nieces and nephews, I came today. I actually ran in from the airport. I was at Anderson's. Ran into my brother John and his wife and their grandchild Colin, and found out I have at least 4 more grandnieces and nephews on the way in the next 6 months, which I had no idea about. So it's a running tale. We're blessed again. And thanks for the love and support from my daughter Phoebe and my wife Alexis. And thanks to all the teammates that we had here, Scoots, Bear, Walks, Joe Waz, all you guys. Thank you, Schmitty, for putting this all together. Sorry about missing your deadlines. I think I got something from you in March saying it needs to be in by the Memorial Day. Got it sometime last week. So thank you for putting it all together. Really appreciate it. Let's go Devils. Thanks, guys.
Introducing Stephanie Turner as Barb Steffen.
to all the inductees, and thank you for being here. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I can't imagine the amount of miles that have been added up from Texas and Florida and every place else where everybody's come from, but it certainly is indeed well-deserved. I also want to thank the committee because I can tell you the tireless hours that they put into selecting these athletes is not easy. So they did a great job this year, and I'm happy to be here to present Stephanie Turner. Stephanie Turner, class of 2006. Steph was a 3-sport varsity athlete, competed in volleyball, basketball, and softball. She was a standout multi-sport athlete whose dedication, leadership, and talent left a legacy both on the court and in the community. Throughout her career at Clarence, she earned 8 varsity red letters, 4 in volleyball, 3 in basketball, and 1 in softball. In the fall, Stephanie competed in volleyball. She was a 4-year starter. She was named to the All-ECIC and Buffalo News All-Western New York teams 3 times. As a senior, she earned 2nd-team All-State honors. Stephanie was the team captain and earned the White Letter Award as well as the Scholar Athlete recognition. Stephanie played basketball during the winter. She was a 3-year starter contributing to a sectional championship. She earned her 2nd coveted White Letter Award as well as her 2nd Scholar Athlete recognition. Stephanie only played 1 year of varsity softball, but she helped the team to a sectional championship and the state tournament as a sophomore. Academically, Stephanie was just as dedicated. She earned honor roll all 4 years, National Honor Society membership, and the prestigious Williams College Book Award. For her efforts, she was named Female Athlete of the Year her senior year. Stephanie was quite involved in Clarence. She competed in the annual Powder Puff game and was a member of the varsity club. This group was extremely tight, and a highlight of her experience was attending the ropes course at Houghton College. Outside of school, Stephanie was highly involved in competitive sports. She played club volleyball with Storm and volleyball FX, where her team was ranked 15th in the nation. Stephanie also represented her region in the Empire State Games, earning gold and silver medals. Stephanie received incredible support from her sister Amanda and her parents Bruce and Cheryl. They are all quite involved in athletics during her high school years. Stephanie continued her athletic career at East Carolina University, earning a full scholarship for volleyball. She was a 4-year starter, team captain, and was named to the Conference USA All-Academic Team. She also received academic awards of excellence and was inducted to both the National Society of Collegiate Scholars and the Golden Key International Honor Society. Beyond playing, Stephanie gives back to the community's sports by coaching at East Carolina University volleyball and athletic conditioning camps. She coached the junior volleyball club at East Carolina, as well as summer volleyball camps at the University of Tampa. Stephanie was the head coach for volleyball at Robinson High School, leading the team to a district, regional, and state semifinal. She was also the JV head coach and varsity assistant for Plank High School. Stephanie's impact spans across generations of athletes with a legacy rooted in excellence, leadership, and love of the game. Stephanie currently resides in Houston, Texas with her husband Rafael Ruiz and their 2 children, Raider and Zia. Congratulations, Stephanie. Clarence Athletic Wall of Fame class of 2025.
Bringing up the caboose. Hey everyone, thank you so much. I'm really truly honored. I'm so appreciative of this amazing opportunity. First, Brian, I got 4 minutes and 30 seconds, I promise. I want to thank Brian for organizing all this, dealing with all of my emails and questions back and forth leading up to this. Thank you for your quick response. But putting it all together, the amount of time, like everyone said, that goes into this and energy that you are putting into this, the PowerPoints, the display cases, I can only imagine how much time. So they're fantastic, truly thank you. Thank you to all my family and friends who came tonight. It really means a lot. I have to shout out my sister and her girls. They flew all the way from Florida up at 4 a.m. this morning just to make it here tonight. So thanks so much. Thanks to my sister Amanda for being my role model going into high school. She was a senior and I was a freshman, so I got to ride along with her in the car. and jam out to our music. And she showed me the ropes getting onto the varsity volleyball team. So thanks, Amanda. I want to thank Barb Steffen for nominating me for this incredible honor. I truly wouldn't be here tonight if it weren't for you. And to the committee members, thank you for your ongoing commitment to keeping this program and this opportunity alive. It's really exceptional. I also wouldn't be standing here tonight if it weren't for my parents and coaches. The people in my life who supported me, coached me, and had a lasting impact on my growth and development as an athlete. And there's one word that comes to mind when I think about their impact, and that's sacrifice. To my parents, thank you. I never truly understood how much you sacrificed for my athletic career until I became a parent myself, with kids in travel baseball and club soccer. Please say a prayer for my sanity and my bank account. You know. My parents were at every game, driving me hours to and from practices sometimes, not getting home until after 11 o'clock on weekdays, and then spending their only free moments, weekends, traveling for tournaments. I'll never forget one weekend. We had a volleyball qualifier in Baltimore, but I had a varsity basketball game Friday night at 7 o'clock that I could not miss. So after the basketball game, and a full week of work, my parents drove me through the night, through a snowstorm, while I slept in the back of the Suburban to get to my qualifier tournament in Baltimore. I mean, that's dedication. Mom, Dad, thank you for your love, your support, and the countless sacrifices you made to help me chase my goals and dreams. I said I wasn't going to cry, but it always gets me. To my coaches, this one's a little fun here. Mark Lair, Barb Steffen, Robin Shiflett, Coach Malley, who's unfortunately not here. Not to me, his brother though, congratulations. And so many others, thank you. You not only taught me the game, but you taught me life skills, leadership, accountability, and hard work. There's a few things I'll never forget from playing for you all, so of course I have to relive them tonight. I'll never forget Mark's famous foot stomp. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about during a basketball game, because that means, ooh, you did not do something right, and he is not happy. But he taught us to learn from our mistakes and to move forward. And to be honest, Justine and I considered buying you a new pair of work shoes after a season of coaching us. Thought you might needed them. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. A saying I still live by today, thanks to Barb. And of course, there's no crying in volleyball. Thanks for always making it fun. As a freshman playing varsity volleyball, I remember Robin telling me that I was playing like a freshman during a Lancaster match, and that I looked like a lost puppy, which she wasn't wrong, that was true. But that moment taught me to have confidence in myself and my skills, and that I needed to step up and be a leader. Thanks, Robin, for always driving me to excellence. When I later had the privilege of coaching high school volleyball myself, I realized just how much sacrifice goes into being a coach. The long hours after work, the nights and weekends spent with your team instead of your own family. To all my coaches, thank you for your dedication, your patience, and the sacrifices you made to help me become the athlete and person I am today. And lastly, I want to thank athletics themselves. Sports have given me more than I could ever put into words. They taught me resilience, how to bounce back after failure. They taught me teamwork, how to rely on and lift up people around you. They taught me discipline, leadership, and humility. That success isn't just about talent, but about effort, attitude, and character. And these lovely inductees all know. Those lessons have carried me far beyond the court and the field. They've shaped how I lead, how I parent, and how I approach life. Once a Red Devil athlete, always a Red Devil athlete, and I will always be grateful for that. Thank you all again so much for this incredible honor.
All right, at this time, we're going to make our way down to the hallway, which is outside the gymnasium, where the plaques will be unveiled. And you can look at the memorabilia and the showcases. And then shortly thereafter, we'll be heading out to the football field, and the inductees will be introduced on the field. And then anyone that would like, after that is done, some of us are going to go across the street to a place called Murphy Brown's and have a beverage. So let's go down to the hallway right now.